first start. Let's see what happens. Alright, I better reshoot an intro for this video because there's been explosive growth, like doubling of the subscribers on the channel. Thank you guys so much. The Tokyo Auto Salon boom has been amazing for the channel. Really appreciate it for everyone who subscribed. Today we're getting back on the DC2. I don't know when this is going to go up on the channel. I kind of want to get this whole rear end refresh done and just probably put the whole thing up as one video. Anyway, I just want to say a huge thank you. Unbelievable amount of watch time, views, new subscribers, shares, like totally mind blowing. I really appreciate everyone. That's, you know, especially the shares and the likes and the comments, like that feeds the algorithm and that's what makes the channel grow. So I can't thank you guys enough. Totally blown away. All right, let's do some DC2 stuff. So last we left off, we had the underside kind of all the big rust scraped down. And now I've got hose and water here. I'm gonna give the underside a good washing and scrubbing. Maybe get off some of this because I want to recoat everything back here, but I just want to do it as fresh as I can. So just do as best a job as I can while I'm doing it, sort of deal. So now the whole underside is scrubby. So now we're gonna just hose it off and hopefully I got most of the dirt and stuff out of there. Alright, that is a wet job. I am thoroughly gross. All I can do now is just let it dry. The air is really dry, so I hope it'll dry pretty quick. And then we'll do the rust converter and blah blah blah, proceed on down the line.
3 days later.
Welcome back to the underside of a DC2. Today we're starting off with our rust killer spray. I don't know, I watched some YouTube videos from this company, and of course it's their own videos, but it looks pretty promising. So I'm gonna give it a shot and hit all the areas that have the rust and stuff like that and let it sit. You know, more fun under the DC2. I think we'll call that good for now. Seems to do what it says. Like you can see it turns purple right away. All right, it's been like 20, 30 minutes, 15, 20, 30, whatever. Before it dries completely, it's hose time. I'm gonna rinse this thing off, get all the residue and stuff like that off, and then that's good enough. Alright, everything under there is thoroughly soaked. I cannot do anything else for today back there. But before I wrap this video, here's a little flashback of cleaning up the mystery exhaust. Check this out. Wild transformation. Alright, there's finished product of washing it. It's stained up and I think it's got some burned on urethane or whatever from like a bumper at some point. And then it's got like discolored, whatever, discolorations in it. I'm gonna try and get that out. I still don't see any markings on it.
1 week later.
So here is the mystery muffler cleaned up. Obviously this is the underside, which kind of had the heaviest stains and discoloration. The melted urethane is still here around the top. If anybody has tips on getting that off, I'm all ears. But look at that. I mean, it's beautiful. It had some like discoloration here on the side that polished out. Even the pipe as well. The kids get credit for that. They wanted to help, so they went to town on the pipe. And look how that shined up too. Like whatever unknown muffler this is, it cleaned up really decent, and like the quality is pretty darn good. It uses a stamped steel flange here for the OEM style connection here with like the spring bolts on it, but it just looks pretty darn good for being a cheapie. Doesn't it look good? Yeah, pretty impressed with that. If you know what it is or have any ideas, drop that down below. And if you have any ideas on like what B pipe I can run, because all I've seen is spoon as like basically the only option currently available. I don't know. Let me know if there's like another company who makes an OEM replacement B pipe. That's the main thing. It's got to be OEM style replacement B pipe. All right, starting today off, we got the weather finally that we've been needing to get this thing undercoated. We got it rinsed off last time, but just had to wait a few days while that dried out, and then we had some crummy weather. It's too cold, whatever. It's like mid-50s right now. Don't let the hat fool you. It's just kind of breezy. All right, so we had a big box, multiple packages, whatever, from Amazon show up, and we got what we need to get started on the undercoating. So here's what we got. This is called Silicone Off. This is wax and grease remover. So Silicone Off or Silicone Off. So then I got two options for rust converting primer. Again, we have a Holtz brand one, which is pretty affordable in a large can, and then this ENDOX brand one, which also, I think they're similarly priced, maybe $15 or something like that. This one seems like a little more pro grade, maybe more hobby, but figured try them both, see what we thought. But yeah, those will convert whatever surface rust is there, you know, into a primed black surface, and then coat over that. And then two cans of Cure brand or CRC chassis black. This is like the cheap stuff. I got this kind of as a backup. It works fine if you're doing like touch-ups for shotgun or whatever. I know I keep talking about that, but it's a thing here. What I'm going to use is Engai Guard or Engai Guard. I watched a bunch of Japanese YouTube videos, seeing what people were using. This should make a hard surface on it that should shield out contaminants and moisture and stuff like that. So I like the sounds of that, and it looked pretty good from what I saw in the videos. So I bit the bullet, and I got some good stuff because I want to do one time as best as I can. If you're looking for it, Engai Guard. And if you noticed last time, I was spraying everything with water underneath the car with no safety glasses on. I went one more than safety glasses. I got safety goggles. But honestly, these were like the same price as safety glasses, and they just kind of looked like they were going to do a better job. So I know that's some like really specific to Japan, probably not going to help many people out who are watching this, but I legit spent a lot of time trying to figure out what to use. So if this helps anybody out, yeah, hopefully it helps somebody out there. Also in the Amazon shopping cart, got some life upgrades. What can it be? What can it be? Boom. There we go. And this one's bigger than I've got in the past, which is cool because you always find like that hammer or breaker bar or something that's sticking out, so we can upgrade. So I just popped open the Silicone Off, and like this is my first time using it, checking it out. I was thinking more acetone-y, but it's definitely more like petroleum based, kind of like what, paint thinner-ish smell? Or lacquer thinner? You can hear it. It dries off to a clean film, so I'm going to try some areas with it and see how it looks. When I check the areas that I wiped, it feels pretty, you know, dried out and stripped or evaporated off or whatever, so I'm just going to go finish up wiping down everything so I have a fresh surface to do some rust converter on it. Again, I'm gonna do the spray type rust converter this time because I'm just, you know, double it up. Here's where the Silicone Off has been shining. There's a bunch of this like grimy, rubbery whatever that I've washed under here with soap and water. It didn't do anything. But yeah, being that this is petroleum based, it just eats it. But yeah, just some more of that. Look at that. See, shines up pretty good when you do all that. There's where my special hooks go. There's a little before after, wax on, wax off. Woo! Well, eye protection bought in time but applied too late. I thought, well, I'm just wiping down, it's not gonna be a big deal. And then one of these old fuel lines, I bumped it and a drop of skanky old fuel just went plunk right in the corner of my eye. Alright, I think I got the underside as wiped down as I can get it. So next up we're gonna start with the ENDOX rust stabilizer. Down below, if you're in the same situation, you want to search the internet or Google or Amazon or whatever, I'll put those words below and hopefully help somebody else out a little bit. We're going to start with this one because it just looks to be a little more hardcore. The spray I used last time, it looked like it did a really good job. Like all the heavy rust spots were black. It was just like the flash rust that was on there, and wiping it came off basically. So this is kind of just like a double, this is kind of like reassurance. Hit it with this, and then hopefully we should have a good coating over everything, and a really, you know, sealed up base more or less once we start undercoating. There's a good example of it looking black. That's kind of what it's supposed to look like after being converted. So yeah, the original stuff did work to an extent. I think it probably worked well if you could have just like dropped a bolt in it, but yeah, this is, we'll go on to phase 2. So yeah, we'll just keep going around like that. Seems to otherwise be spraying well and sticking well, so hopefully it's doing something. We'll see. So the first once or twice, whatever, coat of the rust converter, the ENDOX spray, is on, and it's doing its thing. It's a little, you know, it's not 75 degrees and dry, it's like 50, so it's taking a minute to dry. So you can see there's some runs and stuff in there, but hopefully that shrinks back when it dries off. You can see on the painted areas where there's like no fresh metal rust, you can like it runs real bad, or it fish eyes, whatever you want to say. I think that's just because like that paint chemical has nothing to bite into. It wants the rusty fresh metal to bite onto, and it definitely laid out better when it was hitting that sort of metal. I was staying off of the gray painted spots if there was nothing showing. So yeah, I'm just gonna let it dry another couple minutes, and maybe I'll hit some of the worst spots again just to double it up, and then let it do a big dry and we'll be undercoating. Well, here is where we call it a day and have to come back later, because that at the bottom says undercoat. If you're going to undercoat it, you should wait 2 to 3 hours or 5 to 6 hours depending on temperature. So our heat of the day lasts about 2 to 3 hours right now, and so yeah, we'll pick this up tomorrow. Hey guys, back again, new day, and today we're getting ready to go under there with the Engai Guard, the final coat undercoating. Anyway, we've been blessed with a beautiful day once more, so gotta take advantage of it. Today I'm wearing the mask not because of vapors, but because maybe you saw in the last video all the oversprayed droplets that landed on my face. I didn't realize I was so covered yesterday. So we'll get under there and start spraying some of this next. But first I'll give you a quick look around of what the ENDOX rust converter looked like after it was done. So here we are. Doesn't look much different, but it's dried. It's still a little tacky on like the actual rubberized undercoat. It's still a little tacky right there. I'm not sure what that's about. But otherwise on the metal portions, it's pretty darn hard. Seemed to do a nice job of sealing and covering the rust. It really looks, unfortunately, being black, it looks no different than it did. So I guess the lighting makes it really hard to see any difference or whatever, but we'll get to undercoating now. I do feel like the rust converter did a nice job for what it did do. Seems like it sealed it up and bit into the rust. Full coverage protection today. We're gonna use this where there's no undercoat currently, just like it's the E-coat, you know, the base gray coat of the metal. And this I'm gonna put over the trunk floor here where it's already undercoated, and that's really just for a color change. So use the cheap stuff on the undercoat and the nice stuff over metal. I'm gonna keep going with this, but this is actually noticeably thicker spraying than the other stuff was, or like regular chassis black. This kind of has a rubberized undercoat like thickness to it. It's not that thick, but you can tell it's noticeably thicker than just regular chassis black or, you know, spray paint or primer. Like this is yeah, definitely a thicker goop that you're spraying on, but otherwise, yeah, it seems to be going on really nice. It is noticeably stinkier, but yeah, we're just gonna keep going on, and I'll catch you guys up when we're done. Well, I'm gonna call this stuff a win for sure. This is maybe 20-30 minutes. You can see I left, there we go. Maybe 20 minutes of dry time, but it's definitely thicker, and it's already getting like that hard, smooth, it's not grippy surface. So even in whatever we have, like 50 degree, 55 degree weather right now, it's drying, shrinking back, and I think we're gonna have a nice non-rubbery finished surface. Tried to go a couple coats over where all the seams are, because that's really kind of where all the problem areas were. I might check it again tomorrow and then maybe just hit a couple spots, but overall I think this stuff is exactly what I was hoping for. Nice and thick, nice and smooth. Too bad it's black, you can't see anything back here, but definitely there was one of the heavier rust spots right there. Definitely makes a nice surface. I do recommend. I know nobody watching this is probably in a market that has Engai Guard, but good stuff. So here's some after with the undercoat. Can't really see much on the other side due to the lighting, but yeah, I mean, I love that. Feel good about that. Definitely feel more protected and fresh and sealed up under here. All right, good morning. Out here before the sun has hit me, but it's already a nice day, but it's only gonna warm up from here, so it's a really good chance to try and get the tank back in there. But first I'm gonna crawl under and inspect the undercoating from yesterday. All right, under the car, and the undercoating is dried, and man, I'm really happy with this finish. You can tell it's thicker than like paint, but it's, you know, it's not rubbery and gooey. It's hard, so that is cool. It looks pretty good. Everything kind of like shrank back. These were the main areas that I really tried to hammer, because that's where all the rust was happening. But yeah, I'm pretty pumped on that. Smudged the paint there yesterday. Really happy with the results, and I feel much better about this car's future. That's a win. I really like that. All right, so I'm gonna get off the old hoses and connections and get this thing ready to go back in the car. I'll make sure these are tight. Okay, I think we are ready to throw this baby in the car. But first, I think I want to try and make sure the lines are as empty as possible, because I don't want that curmudgeon coming back into the new tank or into the engine. I'm going to start with the return line, disconnect that, and then try and push it through into a PET bottle to get an idea of, you know, how much stuff has flowed through the system. Okay, so I'm going to go under the car and blow air into the line, and we'll see what comes out. Dang, so there's the gas the car was running on. Fortunately, it doesn't look chunky at all. The old filter is stopping the chunks at least, so yeah, I didn't realize there's that much still in there. It kind of makes me want to do the feed line as well, except it's a hard line at the bottom of the filter. It's pointed straight up, so I can't really put a bottle over it to collect it. It'll just run back out. So I'm not sure about that at the moment. So for the fill line, I'm just gonna do it in reverse. I'm gonna put the bottle on the line below the car and then blow from the filter back.
Evacuation complete. Evacuation complete. Complete.
I'd say that's another success, and remarkably, you know, this is coming from the filter back. Remarkably, this is also not heavily chunked, or it doesn't have chunks in it. So the sock on the fuel pump must have been doing a decent job. Eventually that sock would clog, or the filter would clog, and you're gonna starve your engine. But that's really good to see that there's not a bunch of chunks in there. So it makes me feel better about the injectors, I guess is what I'm saying. So then, with that line disconnected, I was able just to, where is it? Jeez, I was able to bend it back down and point it down. So then, you know, gravity or whatever, what's the word? Anyway, it's just gonna flow back out of the rail and drain out, which is what it did. So I feel like the rail is about as empty as it can be, and the whole fuel system is as empty as it can be, ready for fresh gas. So next up, I need to get, well, I want to connect one end of this strap, but also I have a e-brake line, or e-brake cable I need to reconnect. Sort out what I got here and get that stuff hooked up. E-brake cable is mounted, got the one strap reattached at the one end, looking good there. I got these little cables lined back up and mounted again just to give me more clearance when I go getting the tank in there. But yeah, moving along, doing good. Tank's ready to go up, I think. Here's the new hanger hardware, fresh from Honda, and the part numbers. You need 2 of those guys, and that's really the special part. 2 of those washers, and 4 nuts. They said this part number has changed from the original DC2 part number, but this is a compatible part from a newer model car or whatever. Like, they've used this design and just updated the part number. So that's the magic right there. Boop, hangs into the chassis just like that. I at least got the tank hanging there now, so now I just gotta, you know, get it situated, final connect everything, and then tighten it up. But if you find yourself swapping a tank on a DC2, pre-hook your bolt into your strap really loose. Like, just put the nut on there and connect it, and then you still have plenty of slack in the strap and the bolt to then hook it into the chassis, make your life real easy. Had a bit of rust on the fill pipe, so I just hit it with that ENDOX rust converter, and you can kind of see it in action here. The black is what has already dried off, and that, I don't know, like bluey color liquid is like what it starts out as when you spray it, and then as it dries, evaporates, it goes to that black color. And yeah, it seems to do a remarkable job. Pretty impressed with this stuff, really. On the inside of the car, to make the tank connections, the fill and return lines must have got pulled or doinked at some point because they both were a little tweaked. So luckily it's steel, and I just kind of pushed it back by hand, trying not to go too much, just what I needed to get the hoses to line up. Alright, interior is buttoned up, just panels are loose, but connections are made, hoses are hooked up, so hopefully we'll have fuel pump that comes on and a fuel gauge that reads correctly. Now that the converter's dry, I'm just gonna hit it with some chassis black up a pipe a ways and then get this back together. It looks no different, but it's coated, and I only went up to here, and I just used the cheap chassis black because this was the part down here that just, I don't know, must collect moisture and rust a little bit on the exterior. So seal it up, and then we can put it back together and we'll be done. Well, it's tight. If anybody knows what, torque I need to put onto these strap bolts, please let me know. I mean, there's still, what is it, like an 1/8 inch of threads above the nut on the bolt, but the tank is really tight. I didn't want to go crazy with it, but it's definitely not, doesn't have any play in it at all right now. Seems like it's pretty good. I got everything tight. Leaving these loose definitely helped for installing everything else. Give you that little bit of play to move the tank or whatever. And this one strap, I left the front bolt loose so that way when I was tightening up here, it could pivot a little bit. So so that way the strap would then just kind of naturally line up where it needs to, and then I just tighten it down at the end. That's pretty exciting stuff. I think I'm ready to go get some gas, and then first I gotta get rid of the old gas because there's still a lot there. So hopefully the gas station will take the old gas, and then I can get some new gas, get it in there, and then hopefully we're ready to start. That'd be really cool. It'd be nice to just check that off the list, have that little bit of reassurance so you can move on. Alright, mission to get gas was more than a success. Got rid of the old gas tank, got rid of the old gas, and got gas. So now I gotta see if we got any leaks in the system. I stopped by a Volkswagen specialty shop because they're, they do old cars, they work on cars, they're gonna know how to get rid of old metal. And the dude is super cool. He's just like, yeah, leave it over here, because they got brake rotors and stuff that always get scrapped. So that was super easy. And then I was like, and then I got this old gas that I need to get rid of. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll take that too. And I was like, no, but it's really bad gas. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. I use it to wash parts with. So I just poured it into like an empty 5-gallon bucket, and he was stoked on it, and I was more than happy, and there you go. So now I gotta take him some like coffee or something to say thank you, but geez Louise, what a major win. So I got 20 liters of high octane going in now. Hopefully there's no leaks. But all that went in. I don't hear anything leaking out. Looking under the car for a quick visual check. Nothing looks freshly wet or dripping, so that's a win. Alright, hopefully we hear some fuel pumps prime and then shut off. Priming. Ooh, turned off. We'll do that again. Priming and turned off. We'll do that again. Seems like it's changing sound a little bit. Or the battery's going dead. Okay. If it has fuel, it might have fuel. Okay. I'm gonna check lines for leaks in the engine bay. This looks good. No drips coming down there. Okay, here we go. First start. Let's see what happens. Ooh, she sounds good. Fired right up. I gotta check for leaks. Might lower the rear down, but oh baby. That sounds smooth. I think it likes the new oil, the fresh gas. Yo. Make sure I'm in neutral. Hopefully those parking blocks hold me. Oh man. Can't even tell it's running because there's no belts moving that are visible. Alternator we put in, it's feeling good. Yeah. Look at that little blip. That's a great success right there. So excited. Man, that sounds good. I'm going to shut it off and lower it down and stuff, but oh wow, that sounds good. No leaks still. You can hear the exhaust leak, but no fuel leaks. Right, I'll give you one little rev of this muffler. Man, that is sweet, sweet victory right there. There's still a long way to go, don't get me wrong, but my goodness, like to hear it fire up like that, so smooth. And yeah, like didn't seem like anything's wrong. Like new plugs and new fuel filter and even more fresh gas, like it's gonna be happy. So I feel good about that. Like full steam ahead on getting everything else fixed up, because that was way better. I don't know, that was just like, it's just so smooth. All right. Oh. Do I dare try to drive it around the block? Man, what a step forward. I don't know what else to say. I'm just so pumped that this thing is running and it moved under its own power. Got a lot more work to do, but we'll continue on the next one. I'm so scared these tires are so bad. They're just gonna pop, and if they pop, then I'm stuck. So no test drive yet, but we will get there. I'm really excited now that it's movable to get it cleaned up. Like this dirtiness is really killing me. So on the next episode, that's probably what we'll do, is clean this thing up and see how good it'll look being so neglected for so long. But anyway, we'll catch you guys in the next one. You know, glad we finally got some payoff. Thanks for watching, and all the comments and all the support and all the ideas and stuff, like that really helps. Like I'm new to Hondas. You guys keep, you know, I get DMs on Instagram, or I get comments here on YouTube, and like everyone's got something to say, man, positive and helpful. So I really appreciate like all the kind words or all the support or all the help, because this guy needs it and this car needs it. But anyway, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm pumped. All right, catch you guys in the next one. Much love. Be well.